Hello, everyone. My name is Jane Fong. I'm a real estate investor and a real estate broker. I specialized in residential investment and commercial real estate. Today, we are going to talk about how to get more from your commercial landlord and tips for negotiating commercial leases. As a disclaimer, this is just my personal opinion. Please consult with your accountant and lawyer for legal advices. If you're interested to look for buy and sell, commercial real estate, or residential investment, please feel free to contact me. My URL is www.janefeng.ca and my email and phone number is on this slide. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. I hope that I'll be creating something useful. Feel free to leave a comment, only if it's a good comment. Okay, if it's bad comment, just send me an email about it. So today we're going to talk about a very important subject, which is how do we get more from our commercial landlords? Okay, tips for negotiating for commercial leases. I actually have worked with a good number of other real estate agents, and I do notice that some of them are not as skilled in negotiating terms for other people. Of course, there are a lot of great agents out there. So in this video, I want to talk about how you can negotiate more stuff by becoming a more valuable tenant. Of course, there are other negotiation skills that we can talk about, what a broker can do for you. But today we're going to talk about what you can do for you as a tenant so that you can help attract the landlords to give you more benefits. If you haven't seen the other previous video that are related to this one is a previous video is to talk about if a commercial landlord is going to cover your renovations. So feel free to click on the link here should be on the top corner somewhere to go back to the previous video and take a look at it. Okay, so now the question is, if you're looking for a commercial space, you might be wondering, what you can get from your landlord, how we can get more from your landlord. One of the things that I would always present for my client or ask my client to do is, how can we structure in a way that you become more valuable to your landlord? Because at the end of the day, the landlord wants to have good tenants, right? They want to have a valuable tenant so that they make money in the long run and they have nothing to do, right? Okay, like carefree. This is what every single landlord would be looking for, right? Whether it's commercial, whether it's residential, it's the same thing. So what can we do as a tenant to make it more attractive for the landlord? So the more attractive you become, the more the landlord is willing to give compromises, right? The more they're willing to negotiate because they actually really want you to occupy their space, right? It is to their benefit that you are the one who occupied their space. Okay, so while every landlord is different, there are several things that you can make yourself more valuable to them and increase your negotiation power. And here are some of the tips to consider. Okay, first of all, if you are a franchise or a large brand name, if you're a known brand name, you are likely to have more leverage, right? Landlords want popular and successful tenants because a franchise model typically is a proven successful model, and they have history of other successful franchises to prove that you will become a good tenant. So having a recognizable name would work in your favor. Which landlords would not want to have a Tim Hortons, in their plaza, right? So if you happen to have a franchise, if you happen to be a franchise, if you happen to have a brand name, use it to your favor. The second thing is strong financials. A lot of the smaller tenants, they might not realize that landlord actually do ask you to show them your financials. They might be like, oh, but that's so private, my personal stuff. Why would I want to show them my financial statement? No, this is how the landlord would evaluate your business to see if you are going to be successful. Are you going to stay here for a long term, or you're going to, close half a year and then they will have to spend money to find another tenant again, right? That would be too much work. So landlords wants to rent to tenants who can afford the rent on time, who can maintain the space, who are going to demonstrate stability, who will have long-term success. So if you are one of those, then landlord may be more willing to negotiate with you and to willing to do more stuff for you, give you more benefits, give you more favorable terms. Okay, and this is to show a strong financial statement. This might be something that you want to talk to your accountant beforehand as a planning exercise to have a nice financial statement. Like, some of the people may not, wrap up their years. So you might want to discuss with your accountant on providing a financial statement that you can show to your potential landlords. The next one would be strong deposits. Having a strong deposit will show that you have the ability to, pay the space and fulfill your lease obligation. A typical lease deposit would require you to pay about at least a 3 months rent, okay? And typically it will be a net rent plus TMI plus HST, okay? So that would be what the deposit consists of: 3 months of net rent, TMI, HST. And if you are able to provide a larger deposit, that might also demonstrate you are financially stable, financially capable, which may also increase your leverage to negotiate. The next one is long leases. Many landlords do prefer long leases. And if you look at the rental market for commercial, almost all of the commercial landlord would require you to have a 3 years term, 5 years term, and as a minimum term. Okay, it is more rare to find landlords allowing anyone to do a 1 year term. I have personally not seen anyone doing a 6 months term. So if you are able to sign a longer lease, okay, for example, sign a 10-year lease with 5 years renewal plus 5 more year renewals, then this gives you negotiation power again. You can have more leverage because you are now a more valuable tenant. Once the landlord signs you up, you're going to be there for 20 years, right? They never have to worry about finding another tenant for the next 20 years at all. So this would be favorable to a lot of the landlords. The next one is large square footage of renting. So if tenants are renting a large spaces, this is valuable to the landlord because they can generate more revenue and they don't have to look for and maintain multiple tenants, right? So if they have a 10,000 square foot space and they could divide it into 3 tenants, 3,000 each, or if one tenant is taking the entire 10,000 square foot space, they might be more preferable because they only have one tenant to manage, one needs to negotiate, and this tenant just take up the whole space. Okay, so this might be a something that you could think about. If you are able to afford larger space, or if you need larger space, then this is going to give you more leverage to negotiate for favorable terms when you talk to the landlord. The next one is shows your experience. Landlords wants to have reliable tenants that have experience to operate their business. So if you're a first-time operating business, this might be a little bit disadvantage for you because you may not have the experience to run the business, which the landlord may or may not think that you are capable. So they might not even rent the space to you. Okay, that might be one thing. Or B, they rent the space to you, but give you, very little benefits because they don't want to waste money helping you do renovation when they don't know if you are going to survive the first year. So you have ways to demonstrate your experience. If you're already experienced, make sure that the landlord knows about it. Okay, so they might not heard of your company, they might not do the research because landlord, is not going to spend time to do research for every single potential tenants coming in. It is up to you to show them how experienced you are. So I always recommend my clients to create a profile about themselves. I actually usually create a profile for them, okay, to illustrate how experienced they are, how successful their other locations are, how many years of experience they are in. If they're newer businesses, we might even talk about their business plan, how they are going to be successful. So this will be something that, a real estate broker like myself will be able to help you with it so that it's almost like a resume about your business. Okay, so introduce yourself to the landlord through a profile so that they know who you are before they even see your offer or your request to lease the space. Okay, the next one is show how you can benefit other tenants. This might be a lower priority. However, if you have the big capability, like if your business actually bring in value to the other tenants, for example, you might bring in traffic to the mall, you might bring in more people to other tenants, then this might be something that is beneficial. Okay, so it adds up the value of making you more valuable to the landlord. Okay, so remember, negotiate commercial lease could be challenging, and it is important to have a good real estate broker to represent you. So if you hire a crappy person, you're going to get crappy negotiation. Hire a good person, you're going to get good negotiation. So this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. You can reach out to me at my website, which is www.janefeng.ca, or my email or phone number. I hope you like this video. Please remember to like it, leave a good comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.